Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Jade Green with us. She is a transformational teacher, learning junkie, spiritual being, and adventurer with an international reputation as a hard-charging, rule-breaking, high-performance entrepreneur, speaker, and five-dimensional coach. So welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on, Tyler.
Of course. Grateful to have you here. I'm excited to dive in. So we'll go to the first one, Jade. The first one I have for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one now, isn't it? I'm gonna go with one that usually gets a bit of a giggle and that is globally known. So 10 years ago, I was at our biggest horse races here in Australia called the Melbourne Cup. And I was there with work colleagues, and we were supposed to have Snoop Dogg come to our tent and visit. And it was one of the first times Snoop had been to Australia, and there was a big hoo-ha about him not getting in. Anyway, he didn't turn up to our tent. And I'm not one of those people that takes no for an answer or we'll just let things slide. So I took it upon myself and told my bosses at the time that, well, if Snoop's not coming to my tent, I'm going to go to his tent. And they all laughed at me because obviously Snoop doesn't just wander around and I just let random people walk up to him. So I found the tent and I walked up to the little red rope and the two giant men holding the red rope and asserted myself and said, Snoop is supposed to be in my tent and he's not in my tent, and therefore I must be in your tent. And they looked at each other and they looked at me, and I was waiting for them to burst out laughing. And instead they unclipped the velvet rope and allowed me in.
Wow, no way.
I'm like, oh, now what do I do? Okay, this was a great plan. Now what? So I walk up to Snoop and I'm like, hi. And ended up getting a photo with Snoop and two of our famous sports stars here in Australia, Grant Hackett, who was an Olympic swimming champion for us, and Leighton Hewitt, who is our tennis star. So it's the most hilarious picture you've ever seen. So completely off their face stars and little old me with my random race hat on. And so the reason why the story is like got an underlying moral behind it is everyone goes, oh yeah, but you're a girl, they'd let you in. Yeah, but I'm not the type of girl that they just let in behind the red carpet ropes. I'm not a 6 foot tall glamazon that's, usually in their entourage. And this is 10 years ago before I kind of got fit as well. Like, I'm just not that girl that gets let behind the rope, okay? And the reason why I tell this story, and I link it in with the training I do with Mind Valley, is it's about the power of manifestation, or putting your mind to something and being able to bend reality. And where that comes from is from a deep down confidence and believing. And since that moment in time, I can actually pinpoint many other incidents that are similar to that, where I have literally closed my eyes and made a decision that I'm going to make something happen. And with all full belief and conviction, turned that event around immediately, whether it's getting invited up on stage out of 5,000 people in a crowd at a Tony Robbins event. Tony wasn't speaking, someone else was speaking, where they couldn't even see me in the crowd. And they're like, we're going to bring one person up to do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be me, committing in my mind that I am going to make that person seek me out, point me out, and bring me up. And my friends who are sitting on the other side of the stadium be able to go, when he said, blonde girl with the glasses, go, we know that's just going to be Jade.
Wow.
And yeah, so I think people just need to have a little bit more belief and self-conviction, and that's why I tell that story.
Yes, that is awesome. And yeah, manifestation is definitely a real thing. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. That's so cool. The next one I have for you, Jade, is what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Oh, wow. Let me pinpoint something. I think the most valuable piece of information from me is that I am 100% real and I don't teach on anything that I haven't walked in the shoes of. So if I'm telling someone something, it's because I've been there, done it, and made the mistakes myself so that you don't have to. And I have scoured the earth for the last few years, gathering the information from what I see as the leading authorities in different areas so that I can be the funnel for people and save them time and energy. But I would say if there was one little piece that has the most impact, it is teaching people that the bullshit rules of society should not dictate your life and how to overcome that and change your life around and not live what I did.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so it could kind of tie in a little bit, but the next one is if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say, a lot of people think, oh, younger self, they go back to when they were 21 or something like that, which is a few years ago. I would actually just take myself back to my younger self maybe 5 years ago instead. And that was when I was really allowing the bullshit rules of society to impact my goal setting and the way that I was building my business and being driven. I was eating Gary Vee for breakfast and believed that hustle is the new black and sleep deprivation should be worn as a badge of honor. And, if I just grind some more, that will make me happy. And if I win another business award and if I get even bigger investors and I appear on the cover of the BRW on print rather than just online, that everything will be awesome. And yeah, that's just not the case. Whereas I'd found previously I didn't overthink things as much and I wasn't so I was always competitive, but I wasn't so tying my happiness to goals that weren't actually really aligned to my soul's true purpose on this earth.
And I think that leads in perfectly to our next one. So in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
The key to happiness is not trying to be happy. It is trying to replicate joy. So people, and I'm guilty of this myself, chase happiness, trying to create and mold happiness. And this sounds contradictory because my business Life Engineered is about creating blueprints towards creating this stuff. But it is around really taking stock of what makes you joyous. So thinking, okay, when was I last really joyous? And how can I get more of that in my life? And how do I design my business to serve a life that brings more joy?
And then what is the best book that you've read and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Easy. Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. So a lot of people freak out when I say that. Say, oh, it's a whole religion thing. Well, no, it's kind of the anti-religion thing. Neil's principles and the way he makes you think and really go, wow, did I take that from like the culturescape? Where did I take this on from? Why do I believe this? Oh, that's really contradictory. It just really shakes up your thinking of the world and your programming. And from that, I have a whole story that probably could have been my learning story about how I realized that I was sitting on a couch one day watching reality TV next to my now ex-husband, trying to make him happy, which wasn't making him happy, and not doing what was going to make me happy, which was being on a super yacht with my entrepreneur friends on Sydney Harbour, and realizing that I couldn't be mad at him because I had made the choice to be there. And I got up and I ran to my bathroom and wrote on my mirror, life is a choice, it is what you choose. And that was a quote that I made out of reading the book, which is now my favorite sort of quote and mantra. And just a reminder that everything in your life was down to your choice. Like people are like, oh, this bad thing happened to me. Yeah, but you chose how to react to it afterwards. So whenever I'm sort of looking at something, I've got to realize that it was my choices that brought me here. And it's because it's my choices, I can choose other paths and make my life epic.
Yes, I agree. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. This was a very insightful episode. The last one I have for you before we let you go, I'm sure our audience wants to know, is where is the best place for them to find and connect with you online?
So my website's in construction. So I lead everyone to my LinkedIn page. That's where I've always done most of my work, and that's what I coach on as well. So if they find me on LinkedIn, it's the usual web address. So linkedin.com/in/Jade Green AU.
Perfect. Thank you again.
And they'll find me there.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on, Jade.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on, Tyler.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.